script, and I call it the golden script because you get so much information out of this. So I just want to make sure right now, who here has used this script before? Pre-qualifying the listing presentation script. I'm trying to see raise it. Anyone raising their hand? I can't
See.
see
Well, I
on the
know
screen.
Lindy has.
I can't
I
see it on the
have.
screen here. So I'm
Yes.
gonna have to. Oh, here we go. You guys have? Okay. So if you haven't used a script, not a big deal. If you have, great. You're gonna be a little bit more familiar. This script comes into play once you set the appointment. Okay. Um, you always want to try to jump into the script when you set a listing appointment. Does anyone know the answer why? Anyone want to take a
Listen,
guess?
you don't want to waste your time going out there. You want to get as much information as you can.
Sure, you don't want to waste your time. That's a good response and a good reason, because essentially you're going to find out, hopefully price, motivation, what their time frame is, right? Um, what's also a really good reason to use this script?
It shows that you're prepared and that you wanted to get the listing.
Yeah, it shows you're prepared, right? The more questions that you ask, the more prepared you are to find a qualified buyer. So, the listing presentation in my eyes begins during this script. Okay. And by the way, if you set the appointment and you don't use the pre-qualifying listing presentation script, that's okay too, but you always want to call them back and ask these questions. Okay. And I know they're a little bit upfront. Sometimes they're a little bit weird. I don't know how much time we have here. What is the time frame on this?
It's an hour, but we can make it
Okay.
longer.
So I'll probably be able to get into why we ask some of these questions, which is a lot of people have are probably going to have some questions during that. I'll try to, go dive deep into this script, but again, it's gold. I would always recommend using it. But again, if you don't use the script right away after you set the appointment, you can use it down the road. But you don't know how many times you're going to get in touch with these folks, right? At least if you set the appointment and it's in the calendar, it's good to go. While they're on the phone, you still got them. If you were good enough to set the appointment, you're probably good enough to give them ask them a couple other minutes to ask some thorough questions. And at any times, if somebody's like, "Oh, I don't have time for all these questions," I just stop and say, "Hey, look, I'm not here to harass you or annoy you. Just the more I understand your unique situation, the better I am able to find a qualified buyer that's willing to pay, the most amount of money for your home. May I continue asking these questions? They're very important. I ask every seller these questions. My mother, my aunt, my sister, my neighbor, everybody gets the same questions. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna basically role play this real quick. And then I'm going to show you how to transition into this script. And it's really easy. It's really, really easy. So, Mick, would you mind being my role play partner?
Certainly, not at all.
When I say, when I ask you for an appointment 3 p.m. tomorrow, just say, great, that works. Okay.
All right.
So that's exactly why I called. Are you available for me to come out here and, show you my presentation at 3 p.m. tomorrow?
3 o'clock? Sure am.
Okay, great. Mick, before I come out, there are a number of questions I need to ask you. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell a home, are you planning to list your home when I come out there tomorrow?
I think so, if I like everything you're saying.
Okay, great. Are you planning does anyone hear this echo?
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear.
somebody's got their phone up.
I'm just
You
going to
okay now?
pause for a second there. Hello, test
If
one.
everyone could mute themselves, that would be great. Unless you're talking or you
No,
want to say something.
okay, it's good. It's gone. So to question number two, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling the home?
Well, I had planned on it.
Okay, great. And may I ask, have you already interviewed those agents, Mick?
I had two more coming out. I had
Two
them
more coming
scheduled
up.
later in the week.
Okay, great. I love competition. Now, would it be helpful if I brought a report card, then you could compare apples to apples about some of the agent statistics versus mine? Who are the agents that you are going to be interviewing?
John Smith from Berkshire was one of
Okay.
them, and Mary Jones from whatever agency.
Okay. Perfect. And what's the most important about hiring a powerful agent like myself?
I have somebody who's going to sell the house.
Okay, sell the home. And you mentioned that you need the most amount of money earlier to extract out of the sale in order to purchase the home in Florida. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So getting the most amount of money and aggressive marketing strategy, I'm sure that's something that's important to you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to pause. Okay. Now, I am not going to go over these questions again if I have already talked about the time frame. It'd be kind of redundant and
Mhm.
just I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to pretend that I didn't for to go through the script totally, but I just wanted to stop there. If you already asked them how soon they have to sell the home and they already told you, why are you going to ask again? You sound stupid. Sorry to be blunt and harsh. Um, so tell me again, Mick, where are you moving to?
Uh, Tampa, Florida.
Tampa. That's exciting. What brings you to Tampa?
I've got some friends that retired down there, and I think we're going to try to get a place right near them.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna get a place near the friends. It's an amazing reason to go down there. Obviously, to get out of this cold too. This snow has been brutal this year. So how soon do you have to be there, Mick?
Well, it's summertime now, so we'll have to say September would be a good time for us to move on down there with the weather changing.
Okay, September. And what's the most important part about September? Is it because of the weather? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The weather will be it'll be cooling off a little bit down there instead of the hot summers. So we wanted to avoid that.
Makes sense. Now, you were very concerned earlier when we talked about price. If I could create an opportunity that would put more money in your pocket now versus later, would you consider yourself moving a little bit earlier?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I just it's just important to add that to my notes here. So, Mick, when I see you tomorrow at 3, how much you want to list your home for?
Um, 875.
875. Okay. Perfect. Wrote that down. Mick, as a professional real estate agent, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I'll assume that you'll list with me at a price that's going to cause your home to sell. Is that correct?
Yeah, it makes good sense, right?
Great. So, what price won't you go below?
Uh, I'd like to stay in the eights, preferably. Low eights would be the lowest.
Okay. And I did some preliminary research before my call, and I did notice that Zillow is showing that this price between 7 and 750 would that be just too low for you if the home sold for that?
Yeah, it's a bit off the number. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. If that's all the market's taking, then you let me know, you know?
Of course, I'm going to be truthful. I'm not going to tell you something that's going to a number that's going to impress you. I'm going to give you a number that's going to extract the most amount of money in your pocket so you get to Florida. And with that said, I haven't really done a detailed research on the property, Mick. And keep in mind, um, I actually haven't seen the property yet either. Okay, so
Right.
how much you owe on the property?
Um, 450.
450. Okay, all
Yeah.
right, great. So you got some equity there. Have you ever thought about selling it yourself, meaning like acting as the bank?
It did cross our minds, but it just seems like it's more hassle than it's worth.
Sure, it's not very common in this market, but sometimes a plan B or C, when you have a buyer that's willing to pay, top dollar, but that they need a little help, right? So we could cross that bridge if we get there. It's just an important question. And um, if you could do me a favor, can you please describe the home for me? This is really important. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions here, but imagine you're walking up to the front steps and opening the front door. Take me right through the home, okay?
Yeah, big colonial, great front porch, double front door. You open up, there's hardwood floors that are in immaculate condition. Would keep real good, take real good care of it. It's got some upgrades in the kitchen, some really a great stove, Viking equipment and stuff like that. High ceilings. I don't know, it's just a nice property. It's in good shape.
Yeah, no, it seems it really does. Seems like a beautiful property. So Nick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some research on the home. This is the best number to reach you, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And I don't have your email address. Can you give me your email address as well?
yeah, certainly. microgerio@gmail.com.
Okay. I'm going to send you over a calendar invite, and so we could just keep that on, put that on the calendar, and then I'll have your email. I'll start a file for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send over a package of information for you. Will you take a few minutes before I come out there tomorrow at 3 to review it?
Yeah, sure will. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to prepare that tonight. I got to jump on that right now, and again, I might have some more questions. Um, do you have any questions for me before I arrive?
Uh, I'm sure I'll have them when you get here, but I just a little frustrated with it not selling, and I just want to see a light at the end of the tunnel. There we go.
Yeah, no, it seems like you really want to get to Florida, and I'm a little surprised why this home didn't sell. So we got to figure out why, okay? And just to let you know, our meeting should take between 30 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on how many questions you have to ask, okay?
All right, sure, that sounds fine.
All right. And do you have a preference where I drop off that packet? Should it be in the front door, the mailbox?
Leave it in the mailbox. That'd be fine.
Okay, will do. I will give you a text message or a call when I drop it off in the mailbox, just so you know. And it's really important, if you can, just please look through that packet. There's a lot of material in there, and the more you absorb that information, the easier it is to manage that presentation tomorrow. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody have any questions about that?
I'm going to share the script. I'll split the screen.
Linda, you have a question.
I do. Now, I dropped off a package once and the sellers were a little taken back. Like they I don't think they saw the value in it.
Hmm.
Sure.
So
Okay.
has anyone had that before?
Uh, Honestly, no. I've dropped probably 400 packets off in my day. It just really depends how you present it. If they ever ask, like, what's in the packet, I'm gonna ask ahead, tell them ahead of time briefly. I'm just gonna say, hey, no, it's a great question. Thanks for asking. What I'm going to put in that packet is my plan of action, how I'm actually going to get the home sold. I'm going to put a reference page, some of the most recent clients that I've worked with. I'm going to put a bio of and basically which is a resume of my last 11 years in the business, some statistics of what I do when I get home sold. I'm also going to put a comparative market analysis in there. In addition to that, all of the necessary listing documents, so that when I come to the door tomorrow, I'm thoroughly prepared. And then
Dude,
I ask the rest of the other questions. But if
I
they're
did do
taken
that.
back, I mean, were they taken back because you're professional, or, I mean, what did they actually say?
No one's ever done that before, but they
Hmm.
didn't say it in a good way. And I mean, I told them basically what you said. Um, that it's and to, I know their time was precious. I didn't, I wanted to, make sure that our time was used well. So, so it's like 3 years ago, and I was with Century 21 then. And it was the first time I ever did that. And I was a little apprehensive on doing it again because of their reaction.
Yeah.
And they actually ended up going with someone else. So
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's very rare for them to be thrown back in like in a negative manner. In fact, through my experience, they really think that you're working hard. Usually, it's later on, like while especially if you drop it off in person, like face to face. Hey, I just want to drop this off. Be
I
excited.
did. Yes.
No, I'm not saying that you did anything wrong. What I'm saying is that that's very rare. It's usually the opposite. Okay. And I don't really care what their emotional reaction is. I need them to read through that packet because the gist of and some of the reasoning of why we do this is to prepare ourselves for the objections we're going to face and to cushion the blow if they're not happy with anything in the packet. Bottom line, right? So if you think about it, you're never as mad 24 hours later than you are when you hear about some bad news or you figure out that your home isn't worth what you thought it was. So you go into a listing appointment without dropping that packet off, and you drop a bomb on their table that you tell them their home is worth $100,000 less. They're going to be mad, and you're going to have a much harder time getting a contract signed. Trust me. It cushions the blow immensely. But it also, like, when you call, so I'm just going to do the callback script, okay? And Mick, let's go. You have such a beautiful voice. Let's go. Let's do this again.
All
So,
right.
ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Mick, Tom with Century 21. Good morning. Good morning. Just following up, making sure that we're still on for 3 p.m. this
Yep,
afternoon.
3 o'clock.
Okay, great. Did you get a chance to look through that packet I dropped off last night?
I did. That's a lot of information right there.
I know it's a lot of information and probably a lot to absorb, right? Do you have any questions or any concerns on anything from that packet?
I don't really have any questions at this time. It's pretty informational.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop for
Answer.
1 second. Mick, I want you to tell me that you want to go and cancel the appointment because the price is so off.
Oh, okay.
So do you have any questions or comments or concerns about the packet I dropped off the other day?
I'm not thinking I don't want to keep the appointment, waste your time.
Okay, I could appreciate that. What was the reason why you wanted to cancel? Were you upset with the price or a commission? Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Well, the price having to go as low as we were talking bothers me a little bit. And just looking for somebody aggressive enough to go out and get close to what we're asking for.
Oh yeah, fair enough. And I appreciate the perspective. My goal is to get you the most amount of money. I'll turn over every stone for my client. And I'll be honest, Mick, I didn't like putting that number in there either. However, my job as a real estate professional is to tell you the truth. So would you rather me tell you a number that you want to hear, or do you want me to tell you the truth?
Well, no, I want to be practical and upfront about what it'll go for. Maybe I'm just not ready to go through with it at this point.
Well, I tell you what, here's the thing, right? Ultimately, it's your decision of what you want to list the home at, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we do this? I actually haven't seen the home. I may adjust the price up, or maybe even adjust the price down, but at least let me get into the home so I could create a final, conclusive research analysis on that property. And if it's a price that I can't achieve your goal, I'm going to let you know up front. How's that sound?
Good. Yeah, you're right. You haven't seen it, so you can't really tell one way or the other at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So any other concerns?
Nah, that kind of wraps it up. I'm feeling a little bit better about what you're saying right now.
Yeah, you're in control. Okay, you're in control. You get to choose the price. I'm going to give you pros and cons and suggestions. And also, I haven't seen it yet. I may go inside and it's hard to tell. You only gave me a description. I don't have any pictures. So I'll see you at 3.
All right, sounds good, Tom.
Sounds good. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Yeah, Tom, I do. On question 5, you asked them what they want to list the home for. Is that so you can make sure that what your presentation is in the same ballpark as what he's expecting, and so they don't get surprised that you're $200,000 off when he gets there?
Yeah, yeah.
Or what if the buyer or the seller says, I have no idea what my house is worth. That's why I'm having you come out here.
Liar.
I know he's been to Zillow and everywhere else, but still, he may not.
Lying. You call him a liar. No,
Yeah,
they
right.
know. They know the price. They look. I don't care if you're 90 years old and on your deathbed. You know the price of your home. Of the ballpark.
You know
But
what he bought it for, what the markets are selling him for in the
but they're going to
neighborhood.
test you on that, right? They're going to
Yep.
test you. Oh, well, you're the real estate expert. Well, I want you to know.
Mhm.
And that's when I jump in and say, as a professional real estate agent, I study prices of homes there every day. Therefore, I'll assume that you want to list your home with me at a price that's going to cause the home to sell, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And then whatever they say in that, whatever the response is, you really want to ask a couple other pre-qualifying questions at that point. Because they're going to be like, oh, well, I don't want to give my home away. Like I've never given a home away in my career. Okay. But if you do decide to give your home away, I'll buy it. Or I don't want to give your home away. That's not my job is to get you the most amount of money. I'm looking on Zillow here and it shows that, and that's why I brought this. I role played that out earlier. I'm looking at Zillow here and it looks like that the average is a sale price of or value of your home is between 725,000 and 780,000. Would you be comfortable if your home sells, in between that threshold? Okay. You want to keep extracting information, right? They may say, oh, I'm not selling. That's crazy. Well, you know that there might not be realistic at that point. But I want to bring something up that's so important. This is not a disqualifying the listing presentation script. This is a pre-qualifying listing presentation script. And especially if you're an agent that doesn't go on 2, 3, 4 appointments a week, every appointment you go on is gonna sharpen your axe. You're gonna get better and better and better. So don't disqualify. Just be prepared to know that you may not be able to achieve their goal. Okay. Later in business, when you're cranking, you got 4 appointments a week, you may start asking some other questions and figuring out if this is the right. But at this point, is anyone selling 100 homes a year here in this call?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So go on all the appointments. It's going to help you. Okay.
Not
But
yet.
you want to figure out the price and where they're at. I may not even go on an appointment and it's very, it's situational, but depending on their motivation, if they're not going to give me a price or anything, it's just, I don't even really want to go because if they're not being willing to be upfront with me or like now, then it's just going to be a disaster transaction. It's just, so you want to do everything you can to try to extract that number. Cause they know, don't let them fool you. They know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think
So
the other thing is when you get into the cadence of that script, they just answer. They don't expect it. And you're asking them, well, what do you think your home is worth? I mean,
I would say there's a good amount of times when they won't give you a price, but I find that you can convert that into them giving you your price if you start to dig. Most times they will give a price. I'd say 90% of the time. If you give like a range or you just say, like I know that neighborhood very well. I know the neighbor sold for like 800,000. Is that within the ballpark of like what you're looking to get for your home? And if that was a really nice home and you know it, or if you did your research before and you like use that as an example, and their home is not as nice, and they say, "Oh, there's no," well, now you got somebody that's a little bit unrealistic. But just because that you're off, you were not on the same page ahead of time on commission or price, doesn't mean that you cannot get the listing appointment. My last listing appointment, I was at 399. He was at 500. Okay. He, he sent me, I sent him the listing packet. He called me up that night. He goes, forget it. Don't come out. I said, look, I haven't even been in the home yet. Just give me the opportunity. I've done a lot of research here. Just why don't you give me the opportunity to get inside, take a look at your home. I may adjust that price. That's okay. I met him in the middle. It's still a little bit overpriced, but he's motivated, right? So don't think don't think that they're not going to give you what you put on that packet. It's your job at the listing presentation to be sharp and to know what to say and how to say it, right? Any other questions about this?
I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what if they don't actually say it, but they're fishing? They think that they're going to interview as many agents as they can until they hear their number. But they don't realize we're all pulling from the same database. So how do you get that across to them? Um, you know, letting them know that there's people that buy listings too. They'll tell you the high price, and then in 2 weeks they're hitting you with a price reduction.
I mean, that would probably come up and be revealed in the listing presentation when you're trying to close and they're like, no, we're not ready yet. We want to interview other agents, I'm assuming. Right. So, you can go a few ways about that. You'd say, look, if you know some analyticals are just not going to sign, and that's fine. You don't want to really push them too hard, but um if you walk out of there, if you know you're not going to get the listing that in that moment, there's some things that you could say. It's like, look, Mr. Mr. Seller, a lot of agents are gonna put a number in there to make you happy. And for me to put a number over 500,000 would be a severe disservice for you. And I'm not in the business of misleading. I call it real estate malpractice. And I say, so if you do decide to go with an agent who's going to overprice your home, okay, and not be truthful and realistic like I'm being, then I want you to fire them that day and call me once they start to reduce the price. You could say that. It's just you could talk about it beforehand. You say, they're going to get a lot of you're going to get a lot of agents that are going to, come in with a high price. Do you want to get beat up week after week for price reductions from an agent when they weren't truthful? Right? That you could say something like that. But really it's about, their motivation, and you have to go into the listing appointment knowing what your bottom line is. Like, if they beat you up, what are you going to take that listing at? Are you going to take it for 10% overpriced listing? Are you going to take it for 20% overpriced? Are you going to do it for 2.5%? Are you going to do it for 2%? You got to set a standard before you walk in and figure it out. But it's really all depending on motivation. Because I'll take an overpriced listing if they have a job relocation. I know they have to move, and if I properly, educate them and give them the feedback and display to them proof that I'm working hard and that the market is speaking to them, and that it's not like anything that I'm doing wrong, then they have to reduce the price, right? So there's a lot of factors in that question. It's layered, multi-layered. I don't know if that helped. That helped.
Yeah, we're giving them three options, aren't we, when we go to see it for the different prices? So they have choices, and we're justifying all those prices, aren't we, when we send it to them?
Three different prices.
Yeah,
That's cheap.
I don't do that. I mean, you guys might do that.
That is something that we have been teaching from Greg Harrelson
Oh, okay.
okay.
and Kevin
So
Mills.
it's just a difference of, okay, yep. What do you do, Tom? You just do
Well,
the
it's
one
three
price?
net sheets. And then you say what, what do you want to do for your strategy and give them a choice.
Yeah, I mean, that maybe that works, but I just put one price. I put in a listing contract, and if they want to negotiate me down, they can. But I don't know. I'm not afraid to walk away from a listing like I did today. This guy's
I have a statement. Okay, so I had a listing, um, and it was a couple of lots, actually two lots. And the seller had this huge, I could tell they put a whole lot of thought into this. They had these three tiers of numbers for each property. And to me, it was just a little over the top, but and they wanted to hold on to their numbers. They did a lot of work, so they wouldn't even listen to me. I had to go with what they wanted. And it ended up selling both lots for what I had, but they would still never give me the credit. So I didn't ask for the credit, but um so I ended up going with what, what they, I mean, it wasn't that far off of my numbers, but yeah, I mean, they had this huge sheet that they compiled.
Yeah, no, I mean, people are analytical sometimes, and you got to respect that, right? If it's not that far off from your number, then like, if they're motivated, take it, go ahead. But as long as you tell them the truth up front, like, if it's a lower number, tell them that what that number is, and see if you can get it. Don't be afraid of doing that. I just think that if you can't reason with them and you can't handle those objections properly, and they're stuck on a number, I'm not going to lose a listing for that. Because someone else is going to come in and take it. And I have good skills when it comes to, marketing and communication. I know how to get price reductions if I need one. And if you're truthful in a listing presentation about the price, then the first time you ask for a price reduction, you just go back to the listing presentation and say, hey, remember when we talked about what I think we should start off at being priced at? Yeah, we need to be there. We need to be there. I'm going to suggest, XYZ price reduction. I'll send over the sheet for you to sign right now. Sounds good?
Good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that it's based on motivation, okay? And it's really based on your standards. I think that's really something that I was taught, that stuck well with me, is that every situation is different, and you got to go into it understanding like what you're willing to negotiate down to, right? And hold to that standard, right? I negotiate commission down with price, right? So today, I'm probably not going to take the listing. It's a long story, but we agreed on commission structure, and it basically at 550, 3%. Anything under 550, 2.5, anything under 500, 2%. But I know it's gonna get bid up. See what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes that people need to win. They have to have a little bit of edge over you. And that negotiation, moving it down, is in your favor if you know that you're gonna have the activity. You know what I mean? If it's priced right, you're probably gonna sell it. So I'd rather do that. But to be honest with you, when it comes to commission, Uh, if you deflect it towards the buyer agent and you say this is firm for you, what your number is, most people don't even say, hey, look, we don't even know what's going to happen here. The commission structure between the buyers and between the buyer and the buyer agent, I'm going to tell them to come in with their, what the the commission in which they want. You have the right as a seller to negotiate that. Mine is firm. We don't even know. So let's just play this out. Sign the contract, please. I'm telling you, that is, I'm like 10 for 10 for that. Just deflect it on the buyer agent. We don't even know what that's going to be. Mine is 3. In fact, if my marketing strategy works and you get multiple bids, the buyer agents may come in with a lesser, commission, and you'll make out. So we don't need to get into that, but let's go back to this script. Let's talk about what are we doing for time? Let's talk about why we asked some questions. Does anyone know the reason for asking, will you describe the home for me?
I guess you're trying to get what they're proud of in the home. They want to kind of give you the best points of the house.
Other than details of the home, because that's important, right? In order to figure out value. What is the importance of that? Think about it. Does it have anything to do with personality?
Yeah, it shows you what they're most proud of in the house. That's their sticking point, right?
Well, I mean, that's also good to know, but you're gonna learn what kind of personality style they are. Okay. And a driver is gonna say, 3 bedrooms, updated, got a nice pool in the back, we want to sell. An analytical is gonna go, yeah, well, the bedrooms and bathrooms, they've been updated. The bathrooms are, 5 feet per 6 feet. We just did the crown molding on top, and they're going to give you every single sanitary inch. It's going to go on and on and on and on. Okay, so you get to understand somebody's personality so that you could make them feel comfortable in the listing presentation. There's a couple other things in here that aren't on the script that are so important. And I'm sorry I actually left this out, but I think it's one of the most important questions. You could say it towards the end, okay? Before I would say it when you say I'm going to send over a package of information. Will you take a few minutes? Blah blah blah. The next question you should ask is, are there any other decision makers that need to be present? Are there any decision makers that need to be present? How many times have you guys gone into a listing presentation and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, my daughter, she's really part of this process. And you're like, your daughter? I mean, quick on your feet, you say, let's call her. But if the daughter is part of the process, then she should be there. Anybody that's part of the decision making needs to be there. Because again, your goal is to get a contract signed, period, nothing else. It's not go there to preview the home. It's not go there to build rapport with the seller. Your goal has to be get a contract signed. And the more people, the more decision makers there, the better. What if they say the wife isn't going to be there? What do you say? Linda, what do you say if the wife isn't going to be there?
Reschedule.
Reschedule, yes. Would you like to reschedule it for a time when she can be present? Or can she be present by Zoom if she's traveling?
I wouldn't even give them the option. Would you like? It's
Okay.
So I just say, oh my God, goodness, your wife isn't going to be there. Okay, so we're going to have to go ahead and reschedule when she's available. What time works for best for you and your wife? Afternoon or evening? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, it's so important. I mean, the wife usually makes the decisions anyways, unless it's in some different cultures, the husband does. But the wife's the boss. She got to be there. Or if the husband's not going to be there, you have to have everybody there. And sometimes there's a lot with I've been doing a lot of probate lately. A lot of times with probate, I say, even if the executrix she's obviously the one in charge, but is there any other family members that are part of this process and decision makers? Oh yeah, well, Bobby and my uncle, my brother Bob, and oh, okay. So would it be helpful if we got them in on all these conversations? Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, how do you know that if you didn't ask that question? Real important question. Um, how much you own the property? I get some pushback over the years about like, that's none of your business.
Hmm.
Well, it is. It's my business. And if you're not willing to imagine how much of a pain in the ass the client is going to be if they don't really like start revealing certain things like that, right? Because if they don't reveal that number, what if they're upside down? What if they're on, they owe more than it's worth, right? And now it's a short sale conversation. It has nothing to do with, a normal listing. But what I say is, I would say this works 95% of the time. They say, well, that's none of your business. And I could say, I understand, where you're coming from. What I want to do is I want to put together a net sheet for you so that you really have a good understanding of what your walkaway number is. And, I'm not going to share this information with the buyers out there. This is just so that I can make sure I could achieve your goal and you're happy with what you're willing to walk away. So may I ask you one more time, what is that number, sir? All right. Let's see. What price won't you go below? Well, they may not know that yet, and that's okay. We don't need to, I think that's right. If they're not giving you price, going over a range or going over from some recent sales in the neighborhood is so important. Because if they don't tell you price and you give them a number that they're not happy, or a range that they're not happy, they're going to go from we don't know the price to we're mad at you.
Mhm.
You're going to know real quick. Let's see. Oh, okay. Some people are afraid of question number one. Is anyone here afraid of question number one?
Let me see.
If what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me tomorrow at 3 p.m.?
What do you do if they say no?
I can appreciate that. And Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is there anything in addition to the pre-listing packet that I'm going to drop off to you that will help you make a decision? Is there any other additional information that I need to bring to help you make that decision? It's worth a shot to seeing if they're gonna require something else.
Okay.
Analyticals are probably going to need something else. And if they say that, then you could I wouldn't press the issue too much. I just move on to the next question because I don't know the statistics, but I'll tell you there's so many listings that I've taken when they said they're not going to sign and they sign. And it's just the signature was just like the natural, like, all right, put me to work. Like it's amazing. And that's why it's just all in the presentation. It's important. Just show up early, look good.
Can I ask
That
a
question,
question, Tom?
yeah, before you ask the question, I just want to put this point across. It's really important. That first question sets the tone. You don't want anyone to not know why you're coming there,
Okay.
right? You want to let them know that you're there for a signature. Like you're not effing around. It sets the tone. It shows them like, look, I'm here to get the job done, and I'm here to get a signature. That's why I'm coming there, and it's a nice way to say it. And also, by the way, you could gain some extra confidence when they say, "Yeah, no, we're ready," or yeah, certainly, we interviewed a couple people. We're really excited here. We're thinking of listing with you. Like, it's nice to hear that. Or, oh, 100%. Yeah, we're listing with you. I get people avoid this question so many times, but every time I ask it, I'm so surprised when somebody says yes. I'm like, what? You'd be surprised how many times people will say yes, as long as you do a good job of asking the right questions. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that, Linda.
That's okay. No. So back to the price. How do you ask them, or do you ask them if they're current on their mortgage? Because sometimes if they're not, a list pen hasn't not even been recorded yet. So, yeah, I know.
It's going to come up. You know, I think it'll come up. I mean, if they're like leaning towards being like, upside down, like it eventually come up. You'll figure it out in the net sheet. And if they don't, I mean, like you could still sell the home if they're behind in payments. That's a pretty motivated buyer, seller.
Could you come right out and ask them if they say, well, we don't think you need that kind of information? Just right out and say, well, I need to know if you're upside down on your house or not. Say it politely, of course.
I mean, if I started doing the math and I'm like, I don't know about this, then I'm gonna call them back and I'm like, hey, what happens if, you know, what happens if you got to bring money to the closing table?
Yeah.
Like, are you prepared to do that? Can you afford to do that?
Mm.
Good question. It'll come up.
Mhm.
Or it'll come up in a title search with liens
Oh yeah, it will
or the
come up.
bank will show up and take it.
Well, see, that's what I'm afraid of.
You're thinking about it too much.
Okay.
It's gonna be so rare where it's just like, don't overthink this stuff.
Well, it's happened before,
I'm sure.
and I've yeah, it just you're kind of SOL then,
Well, I mean, you're going to keep continuing asking good questions. I think you're going to figure it, like there'll be signs, you know, and even if it doesn't come up as Liz pendants, it means that they're not too far behind in the payments. So if you sell the house, then they're going to pay some fees. But I think that's where that conversation is going to come up. Like, hey, there's, a payoff amount plus fees. Like, are you okay with that? Make sure you call the bank and make sure. And then like, you're going to hold off probably putting it on the market until you figure that out. See what I'm saying? Smell what I'm stepping in there, Linda?
Mhm.
Any other questions about this? I gave you a lot of information. I
How long,
love this script. I think
hi Tom,
yeah,
how long do you allocate for the appointment, the listing appointment?
30 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
Do not make the mistake of telling them 5 to 25 minutes. If they are a busy person and they allot 25 minutes and it takes an hour, they're going to be mad,
Yeah. Okay.
or they're going to have another listing appointment. Tell me how awkward that is, because I've been there.
Gotta get out of here. The next guy's coming in 10 minutes.
We're like, who's that? Oh, the next realtor. Oh, tell them to come on in.
I probably know him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's really it's really important, and it shows on here 5 to 25. Well, just how long it takes. Some people don't shut up.
Yes.
Some of the expressives, they don't shut up. So you should probably say it's going to take between 3 hours and 15 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just be realistic. But that's why I always follow up with saying it's going to take between 30 and 60 minutes, depending on how many questions you have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Great answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Isn't this pre-qualifying the listing really about building relationship and showing credibility that you're there, you're a professional, that you're there to get this listing?
100%. I mean, nobody does it.
Yeah.
Nobody asks these questions. You become a professional immediately. You're showing them that like do you ever go to a doctor office and you talk about like what your injury is and they don't ask any questions.
Mhm.
They don't just like assume, oh yeah, you broke your knee without they never ask any question. You know what I mean? That's like the equivalent to most real estate agents. They just show up. We're like, yeah, we're ready. Like you didn't ask any questions. So I think you separate yourself from the competition right away.
Mhm.
It's a good point. Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I think this is unbelievable. Like you literally, it sets you up for success. And not only do you like understand what your objections are going to be from when you follow up the next day, if they say if they're mad at you about price and commission, then you just practice your price and commission objections beforehand. You know that's going to come up. I'd rather be prepared about that than not. They may say, "Oh no, we're really happy. We like your plan of action. Blah blah blah. We're excited to see you." I've shown up before and everything was signed.
Mm.
Wow.
How great is that? That's a
That's
0 minute listing presentation. Um, and it also you understand who they are. Some question I like to ask like what profession they are too. Like if I can't figure out if they're analytical, amiable, I would start really understanding personality types because the more comfortable people are, the easier that it is for them to sign. And if you're feeding an analytical, very quick responses that are not thought out, then you're going to come into a situation where this guy's going to be uncomfortable, or the opposite, right? If you give tons of facts and figures for somebody who just wants quick, hey, how long is it going to take to sell? What's the price? What are you going to do? And you start feeding market data, they're going to be like, ugh. So understanding personality types and conforming, being versatile, is really really helpful for your success. And when they describe the home for you, you're going to try to figure it out. Or if you can't figure it out, ask them what they do for work or what they do when they used to work. Because if they say they're a doctor, they say like they're a lawyer. Lawyers are usually analytical. Doctors are never expressive. They could be amiable. Um, there's engineers, what they are, and analytical, you could that kind of helps you out too, but that's so important. And knowing the price, I think, is the most important. I know agents that will not go on the listing presentation if they don't know a ballpark of where they're at with price. Don't let them fool you. They know the price. Yeah, this is genius. It sets you up for success. It really does. What else you got?
I think this
By the
was,
way, I don't know if you see my sheet. Can you see my sheet?
yes.
Okay, so I modified mine.
Can't see it.
There it is.
There it goes.
So you got these lines up top.
Yep. Who they are, what they are.
I
Yep.
have the name, phone number, address, email, date of call, date of appointment, and time. I put that on top, and I carry these with me at always, everywhere. And I literally read it. It's like the best thing. Have it, bring it in your car, put it in your office. Like I literally always have tons
Nice.
of them. They're everywhere.
Hey, Tom, I made room on mine so that you can record your answers so that you don't forget what they asked for, when you get to the presentation. So I made it kind of like a checkbox, or I've got a comment section so I can fill all that information in to each
Yeah,
question.
Scott, that's a good move. I like that. I used to do that, but now
Very easy.
I just write those things on the town card because when I go through the house, I take extra notes on my town card and all my notes are on the town card. So just personal preference. Also invest in a CRM that records your phone calls because if you start the lead into your CRM and you're on the road, you don't have to pull over. You could you could just ask the same questions and pre-qualify them and then go back and listen. And AI transcribes them and most of them now. So it's amazing. I don't even pay attention during my calls anymore.
What do
I'm
you
joking.
use for your CRM?
I'm joking. I have two. I have Follow Up Boss and I have Go High Level. I'm transitioning to Go High Level.
Can you say that again, please? I didn't make it out.
Yeah, Follow Up Boss is my CRM that I use currently, but I have just um, I've worked with this recently worked with this software team and put together some custom automations and Go High Level is like an open platform so that you could add other applications and they could all seamlessly work together. So I've been working on some custom technology. Um, but they both do the same thing and essentially they keep track of all your leads. They do like automatic nurture programs, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the thing about CRMs is that's so helpful is that it's all everything is one place. All your past clients, all your new leads, they come in there. It creates automations. You could change the stage, which will change the automations based on the process of where they're at. Are they pre-qualified? They're going to get letters, emails, all automations. But the best part about it is like the reminders, like about like who to call. Because like what I do is I have a something called a smart list. So my entire database in the CRM, I got like 1,000 names in there. Every time I call somebody, it automatically goes into my smart list 180 days. So that I just every day I just go in and clear the smart list. I don't have to worry about when I have to call them. I just worry about clearing the smart list. I don't know.
Is that
It
so?
could I could get into
It,
this for a long time, but it's a little bit complicated what I just described.
very exciting. Any other tips? Do you buy leads?
Um, so I have I have Arch Agent, I have Vulcan. Um, I buy probate leads. I buy um I hate Zillow. I don't buy listing leads. Yeah, that's about it. Realtor.com. I'm involved with Realtor.com, but it's like 30%. I wouldn't recommend it. It's too much money.
Nice. Any other questions? This guy has a lot of good answers. I love that you take notes on the town card when you're getting there.
Yeah, because the town card is important to make sure that they like kind of understand what their home is. Sometimes they don't. And it's good for me to memorize it and like just write down in square feet. And I take notes of like some of the comps. I usually put like three of the comparables that I'm going to focus on. I'll just put some like a star next to that and then additional notes on that page and then, their motivation, where they're going, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. It just, you figure out the best thing to
Good
do.
tips. Yeah.
Who do you use for
I used to bring
probate?
an iPad with me, but I just bring my laptop now. Oh, this is important too. Okay, I got a really good tip. So when you call to confirm the appointment, ask them for the Wi-Fi code and the password up front. Say, hey, look, you might have some additional questions or ask about other homes in the neighborhood. Would it be helpful if you give me your Wi-Fi password and your username so that when I get there, I could just jump right on your Wi-Fi. And the reason to do that is because I learned through experience that some people have some weird, erotic, and disgusting passwords. And you see what their face looks like when they're telling you the password, and it gets weird.
So you want to do it ahead of time so
Yeah,
that
because they
they
give them ability to change it.
oh, that's
But
But
also,
aren't you afraid of the Internet of Things? I mean, I'm a little concerned about the Internet of Things. Like, I don't want to be on someone's Wi-Fi in case they have a virus or something and it infects my device.
Linda, you worry too
No?
much. I no, I don't care. I no, I got I got an Apple, I got a Mac. It's not gonna get viruses. It doesn't get viruses. Um, no, I think that's just it's just overthinking. It's such a benefit because there's definitely been times where, like the signal was kind of low and they had other questions, and if I could just pull up my MLS and start talking about the neighborhood. And like, I also prefer to show people the pictures on my computer. I got high resolution. The pictures look better, so the comparables look better. So it makes looks like the other homes in the neighborhood look better versus some stupid piece of paper where it doesn't look good at all. They get in a better like visual of what their competition is. Does that make sense?
good point. And
But
also it
they-
gets them thinking about staging.
Yeah, and what I do too is like I literally show them um, what an appraiser does. So when I jump into like talking about value, I say, well, the first thing I do is, I go into the MLS, I look for a 1 mile radius, I pull up comparables in the last year. Okay. And, I literally just show them and then I'll go into my saved, which will be the comps that I used. Um, and I'll go into like, um, I just kind of go through the process with them, and then I just pull up some of the comparables. And if I have written down in my town card, what the main comps are, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through the three of them because if they look through the packet already, I'm not going to go through all of them already. It's just like it's just not how I operate. Somebody gave me a question. Oh my God, I got a bunch of questions in chat. Sorry about that. Great answer. Oh, tell me more. This is good. Oh, great. Nice. What if they refuse? Okay. I'll just make sure that I have like my CRM print saved as a PDF.
Yeah, that's true. If you bring it your tablet or Apple and you save your the Moxie Present is a really good looking CMA and it does have all the pictures. So if you save it as a PDF, you can pull up the pictures and it will take up the whole screen and look pretty.
Hmm. Uh, Inez, you asked what company you use for probate leads. There's so many. I use two different companies. There's all the leads. There's uh, U.S. probate. There's pre-foreclosure now or pre-foreclosure daily. There's so many. You could just Google it. Um, Probates are challenging. Any other questions? I thought this was pretty productive here. And
This was
what do
great.
you think?
Yeah.
Anyone got any comments? What do you
Thank you. That was good.
Scott got it going on. I feel like you used the script and the presentation and you're excited, you're fired up. What are you gonna how many homes are you gonna list this month?
That's a good question. I don't know. I just started a couple weeks ago, so couple months ago, but this is good. Good overview.
Just
Thank you.
you just started real estate or you just started
Yeah.
using scripts?
Well, I just both.
Oh, where do you live?
I live in Hebron, Connecticut.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yep. Where are you out of?
Brantford.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'll do here is I don't know if Jody put it, but I'll put my my contacts here. My cell phone. If anyone has any questions about anything, you can call me anytime. I'm always here to help. That's my cell phone, email. What else? If anyone wants to follow me on Instagram,
Yes, definitely.
yeah, follow me on Instagram. I just hired somebody to help me out with some of the social media. I do some posts myself, although sometimes I just get bored of it. I like to have fun. I don't take myself too serious. I take my business very serious, but I don't take myself too serious. So,
I like that.
I like to have fun and get it done.
Tom,
Yeah,
thank you very much for your
but
time.
anybody call me anytime if they have some questions. It's a little uncomfortable, the script, but it is so powerful. And Scott, for being somebody new and recognizing how powerful this is, I started using this day one. Century 21, I thank them immensely for giving me the Mike Ferry scripts. I used that day one, and I thought that was just so good. And it's just like so many people were like, "Oh my God, no, you asked so many questions, so thorough, so professional." And like, yeah, I need to know. I need to know these questions. I need to know these answers. Like, how could I put you in the best position if I don't know everything about your home and everything about what you're trying to achieve? So, well, I hope that helped. I know we went a little bit late. I appreciate people staying. Again, there's my socials. There's my phone number, my email. Call me.
Thank you,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Have a good evening.
Bye, guys. Mick, call me.
Thank you.
Call you at midnight.
Johnny, you want more chicken?
Great job.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a